this is the most homeless place in America per capita.
Washington, D.C., where prosperity meets power, where history mingles with modernity. To outsiders, the city may seem to be the example of achievement and opportunity. But is it really? Homelessness is a huge problem in Washington.
What the
A crisis of homelessness.
Do you think DC's doing a good job of combating the issue of homelessness?
Wasn't the mayor just given $50 billion to deal with the homeless situation? Where's that money? This is a very good system. You just have bad players in here.
What's up, everybody? We are currently in Washington, D.C., the most homeless place in America per capita. I'm with my good friend Tommy G. We're at McPherson Square right now, which used to be a hub of homelessness.
More than 70 people are now living in the McPherson Square camp.
As you can see, it's cleared out, it's fenced off, there's no one here anymore, but recently this was a tent city.
Today, dozens experiencing homelessness were forced out of McPherson Square.
And we're going to find out today what life is like here in D.C., the most homeless place in America.
This is known as one of the most homeless places per capita in the country.
Right.
Does that surprise you?
No. This is the only place where you can get your voice heard. There are good people out here.
Why do you think this is the most homeless place per capita?
Because there's a lot of opportunities here. There's a lot more compassion and empathy here too. You have people in other states that just walk up to you and say, die. I chose to come here. You know what about me here? My PTSD. I was scared of bridges. I used to live under that bridge. And I was tired of being scared of bridges. I was in the first Gulf War, the one that counted.
We heard that veterans could get apartments for free around here. Is that true?
Yeah, it's very true.
So what keeps you from getting a free apartment rather than staying out here?
I have an apartment.
But you still stay in a tent out here?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why not? I mean,
Let me tell you why homelessness in metropolitan cities would never be fixed. You got regular unemployment, you had the pandemic unemployment. Every homeless person out here was getting $785 a week. You would think that every homeless person out here would be in a house by now. On top of the free money, you got free clothes, shelter provided to you, the city gives you tents for free, the churches to come out every Saturday and Sunday, you give out gift cards and all of these things, right? 90% of that is dispersed, goes back into drugs. We're homeless by choice.
Next, we spoke to a man who had been living in Fort Reno Park, but was recently displaced by the homeless camp cleanups.
On December 16th, Department of Human Services, National Park Services, and Park Police came and evicted all of us. There was a 68-year-old man, there was a pregnant girl, and a guy who was trying to kick heroin. So 70 people were displaced, okay? How many of those got apartments?
I'm not sure.
3.
We've been told by several people that the free housing was very good. Do you disagree with that?
I'm on the voucher list. I've been on it for 6 months now, and just everything's starting to roll. They want to re-displace me. I've already been displaced. They want to displace me even more. And the question remains, where are we supposed to go?
With nowhere to go, many homeless people sought shelter within tent cities, hidden in the woods.
Behind me right now is probably the closest thing to a tent city that we found. It's pretty camouflaged by the trees and the brush. It's hard to see from the road. It's hard to know this would even be here. We have several tents layered with tarps. We got big 5-gallon jugs of water right there, coolers to keep things cold. And right here, you have a baseball bat. I guess you could assume this could be for protection. And it just keeps going back. Laundry bins. If found, please return to Amsterdam Hall. Over here we have a scooter that is being used as a laundry rack.
You gotta get this message out. It's not just, they're thinking that if you close down an encampment, okay, 1, where are the people gonna go? Okay, 2, look at the messes they made of the encampment closing so far. Noma, they killed someone.
In the Noma neighborhood, city crews were clearing tents there when people on scene say a small bulldozer started to clear a tent with a man still inside.
They don't know where half of those people are. The government relies on Miriams Kitchen and other private organizations like Georgetown Ministry, to do the heavy work. Wasn't the mayor just given $50 billion to deal with the homeless situation? Where's that money? Affordable housing is now a reality in today's economic society. And they say, get a job. Okay, I'll get a job. My problem is keeping the job, honestly. It's not just society, it's also me.
We're the voice of the city. That's the reason why they're trying to get rid of us, and there's a reason why there's people helping us. There's a reason why it's so hard to get rid of us.
To some people, it seems like an issue that might never be solved. What do you think about that?
Well, those people, they need to take some iodine and some ginkgo biloba.
Any misconceptions about homeless people you'd like to clear up?
Yeah, they're not all drug addicts. Or I'll tell you what, let me change that. Y'all got a lot of fucking nerve calling these people drug addicts when y'all do sugar, when y'all drink milk. You like sugar, you like milk. Those are dangerous drugs. Dangerous drugs. We're the only species on this planet that drinks another species' milk. Just remember, jealousy is only corrupted admiration.
What really needs to be talked about is this Tranq situation.
The Tranq, I learned about that in Kensington, Philadelphia. It's coming down here into D.C. now?
Oh, yeah, it's in D.C. And as soon as they mix Tranq with that boot, there's going to be dying. And Department of Human Services wants to worry about me living in a camp. You know, why don't you worry about what's about to happen? The tsunami of shit that's about to happen.
Why is the media not covering the opioid epidemic and the Tranq epidemic? Not only can you not even get heroin anymore, you can't even get clean fentanyl anymore.
You know, and the thing about Tranq is that they're like, oh, well, you can use Narcan. No, you can't. It's not an opioid. The thing about Tranq is that there is no counteragent.
What is something that could be done to help the homelessness situation? Like, are there any solutions? I know it's not an easy solution, but are there any solutions?
No. I'll be here to catch you when you get here.
Everyone's just a paycheck or two away, right?
Right. It's not just a mental health thing. It's not just a person's lazy. It's not just, it's a convolution of crap can just happen and you find yourself out here.
We the richest poor people because you have organizations out here. Like right now, 4 o'clock, Miriams. They have gourmet chefs that make food for the homeless.
Right now, we're on our way to Miriams Kitchen. We're going to see if we can catch the dinner rush there, I suppose. How do you shower out here?
Well, there's some places that give showers, like Georgetown Ministry. You take a shower there. I go to the pools.
The street noise. How do you sleep with such loud noise right by you in the middle of the night?
You zone out. What came first, chicken and egg? Do I get fucked up because I'm an addict, or am I an addict because I'm out here,
We arrived at Miriam shortly after they had closed and spoke to a man about the dangers of getting caught up in this system.
The biggest shelter in the world is what? The biggest shelter in the world is what? Welfare. Because you in a place that you cannot own. And then you in a household where there's a parent missing. So the last 2 weeks out of the month, there's no money, there's no food. Because some states don't have pantries where you can go get groceries. Just because you give a sandwich out or buy a bike, that's not helping. But a shelter is built for you to stay in there. Because after 90 days, they're supposed to put you in a place, but they don't. Even when you ain't there, they're getting paid for that bed, as long as your name is in the system.
How do you think drugs get to the hood?
The government bring it, because they want you to die instead of getting your money. And schools need to change their system, because schools don't teach you responsibility when you are going through high school to be an adult. They teach you how to fail, man. The system is created to fall. It takes the young people like y'all to sit at a table with ideals that's gonna make things work.
If you had one wish, what would it be?
That no children or elderly would be outside. Right now, there's more children and more grandmothers on the street right now. And it ain't supposed to be like that.
So with the sun setting, we left Miriam's Kitchen to look at one of the last remaining park encampments yet to be cleared out by NPS.
So yeah, this is Kennedy Center Encampment. Been around for a good minute, but yeah, this is where people end up after they do things like McPherson's, quick close on McPherson. Again, what are we supposed to do? Where are we supposed to go? We're gonna end up on people's front lawns. Mayor Bauer did get that, $50 billion from Biden, right? Why is it still happening?
So with that $50 billion grant, you see no difference whatsoever.
I've seen no difference in what they're doing.
Even with the ever-growing resources DC has for the homeless, the city's rates of homelessness have only climbed since last year.
After spending millions of dollars on shelters, housing, and vouchers, Mayor Bowser quietly released the results of the most recent point-in-time count for those experiencing homelessness in the nation's capital. For the first time since 2016, the number of people living on the streets has gone up.
Is there any avenue for the homeless out here to make money? Does panhandling work? What are the alternatives?
Remember we were talking about this living in 4 different standards, dude. How do you save for money when you're living in a day-to-day standard? When you're living day-to-day, how do you plan for that?
Yeah, because you don't plan for your future if you're living like that, right?
If you don't have a future, why plan for it?
That's sad.
Isn't it though?
If you had one wish, what would it be?
That I wasn't here, that this wasn't happening. But it is, and I am, so I'm making the best of it. That's what you can do. That's all you can do.
God bless you, brother.
All right, man.
What were your takeaways from today, Brandon?
For the general population, clearing places like McPherson Park seems to help the issue of homelessness, at least topically, right? But then when you go into these harder to find areas, you see that the homeless people are still here. They're just not in plain sight. So I guess that leaves the viewer to decide, is that good? Is that bad? I think it's good for the general population, but a lot of the homeless people seem to think it was a bad thing.
I think it's one of those issues that if this was happening in front of your apartment building, in front of your workplace, there's feces, there's needles, you want it cleared out. I think that's undeniable. And anyone that says different, invite people over to live in your house and see how you feel. But the fact is, this is an issue that will never go away. As tough as this issue is, this seems the best way to handle it that I've seen so far. So I applaud Washington, D.C. I'm thankful we got to meet some of its citizens and people, and they got to tell our story. And I'm happy that we got to have this experience.
And if you were happy to watch my recent collaborations with Tommy G, commemorate the experience by buying our Most Dangerous t-shirt collaboration, available right now at thebuckinghamshop.com.
Cool, it doesn't really matter what I do, cause I'll always stay stuck as a fool. I'll never be cool, don't get what I want, I'm a noob. I'm way lamer than you, I'll never be cool. All the cool kids got their backpacks, me I'm made fun of and laughed at. I wanna get past that, but I'm whack and I rap at a last, always last, what an ass hat.